I'm trying to figure out exactly how to encapsulate what I consider to be a very, very powerful testimony. Testimony of patience, a testimony of dependency on God. Folks, I'd like you to welcome, please, Mr. John Payne.
Good evening. We on?
I think so.
All right. I like to start with the 23rd Psalm in a prayer box. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures, leads me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. That's where we're going to start tonight. He restoreth my soul. I accepted the Lord when I was 11 years old. I'll lay a foundation to let you know that up front. And I started coming to church here full-time March of 2013. What I mean full-time is every Sunday. I sat back there in the back singing the same songs you sang, heard the same teaching you heard, worshiped the same God you worship. That's where I sat. But my problem was I was on the outside doing what we're supposed to do, but my soul wasn't. I was holding on to the doorknob. 1 foot in, 1 foot out, on the fence. Got what I'm saying? So we went that way for a few months when I was here in March, but I couldn't take that next step until about June, 1 week in June into the July. 3 nights in June, 2 nights in July, I had a dream. I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning those nights, and I had an urge to go on top of the hill behind my house in the field to pray. We know what that is. That's God directing us. But I thought, I got to get to work at 5. I'm going to go back to sleep. No, we'll do this when I'm ready. The next night, the same thing. But as I'm going back to sleep, every time this happened for 5 nights, I would have this dream of an old man. And when I say old, I used to think 50 was old, but I'm 50. I can't say an old man 90 because Sister Sarah's here. We'll make him a 120-year-old man. Had a hat on, trench coat, and a briefcase. He would walk up the hill. I would see him at night, and he would sit down on the hill, patiently waiting. And then sunrise, he would walk back off the hill, pick up his briefcase, walk off the hill. The next night, the same thing. 5 nights, the same dream when I'd wake up at 5 in the morning. Now, you're sitting there thinking, why wouldn't you go up on the hill? The same reason you sit there and don't come up here. We think we've got time. Don't have time. So this went on 5 nights, and finally, it passed. Then come November 18th, I had a cough I couldn't get rid of. Went to see the health nurse. She prescribed me some medicine, but wanted to get a CAT scan of my lungs to see why I was coughing. Had it for about a month. Went and got the CAT scan that Tuesday, November 19th. The next day, November 20th, I was called down to the medical unit of work, 12:05 p.m. in the afternoon. Go downstairs, open up the door. The nurse is at the couch crying with handkerchiefs. The doctor's behind the desk with his arms up on the desk. And he says, John, have a seat. So I go sit down, and he looks like he's scared to death. And that's not a good feeling when you're sitting in front of a doctor that looks scared to death. He proceeded to give me the CAT scan reading. I don't know what these words are. I'm trying to read it, don't understand it. He's telling me in the background, I heard probably 3 or 4 things he said. I did hear him say that when we're talking about the C word, people get scared, but we can get you the best treatment that we can find. So I'm thinking this isn't good. He went on to say, enjoy Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is never a good thing for a doctor to tell you to enjoy a holiday. So when he's done, he wanted to pray, so we prayed. I went back upstairs, left, went home, showed my wife the news, told her what was going on. Went to basketball practice that night at Westwood, went to work the next day and Friday. Just keep going. Friday night, I had to tell my kids what I had. And when the doctor's talking to me in the office, pretty much that's the day I found out I had stage 4 renal cell carcinoma. That's a long medical term for real bad kidney cancer. I had a 16-centimeter tumor in my left kidney, which is bigger than a softball, the size of a big golf cup, which had spread to both lungs, lymph nodes, spine, and brain. That's bad shape, isn't it? I had a 2.5-inch tumor right lung, 3-inch tumor in the middle, multiple nodules, spot on the spine. Lymph nodes were all infected of cancer. They give you about, on that, when you read on Google, 7 to 9 months to live. This is November 2015. So I beat that time frame. Anyway, that's what I had, told my kids. Next day I went and told my parents Saturday morning, November 23rd, about 2 in the afternoon I went to talk to them. When I'm leaving their house, I'm driving through Star City, heading past the Coliseum, going down through Osage, and the car was stopped. I live in Purse-Glove, turning into Osage. I let it stop. I let it pull over. I pull up, look up Bethel Road, make sure no one's coming. When I look up Bethel Road, I remember that picture of that old man. And I saw him. And it came to me at that moment. That's the traveling physician. And that's what I needed at that moment. So I went up on the hill in the truck. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, November 20th. The wind's blowing. It's cold. And I'm praying, asking God, if you've ever helped me in my life, I need it now. When I got done, I knew to be quiet and just let God do something. Because I went up there fully expecting I have cancer, stage 4, and I need a miracle. And I knew God can do something. So I'm up there asking. After about 15 minutes sitting in the truck, I got quiet. And I heard that voice speak to me. Not here, but here. You feel it when you hear it. And the voice said, your soul is in worse condition than your body. Now, how bad was my body? But your soul is in worse condition than stage 4 cancer that's everywhere. So, like I read to you, Psalms 23, He restoreth my soul. And that's what I did November 20th. 2 weeks later, my wife she's worried about all this, so I tell her the story, what happened. And she takes it and she tells me her side of the story, which I'll get to later. After that, I went through treatment at Ruby Memorial. It was immune therapy treatment. You have a 7% chance that this stuff is going to work a little bit. Nothing fixes kidney cancer except Jesus. That's it. So I go through the treatment, February 3rd, 1 week in intensive care, 2 weeks out, week in intensive care. That's one round. I went through the treatment. 6 weeks later, had a CAT scan done, and over 90% of what I had disappeared. Tumor gone, tumor in the middle gone, lymph nodes gone. I had 3 spots left, 5 millimeter in size. That was it. There's something to the renewing of the soul and everything else following. But the soul comes first with everything. Soon after that, we went through life, and then get to the end of the story. I told my wife what was going on November 2013. And she said, that's all that you told me that, because we have a box at church that in January we put a prayer request on there for what we want God to do that year. And that was November 20th, 25th, she told me the story. A month later, end of December, we get a card back in the mail. This is the card. Pray for John. 1 year earlier. See, I thought this story started in March when I felt the call to come back to church. But it started 3 months earlier when my wife, by faith, put my name in that box. And you as a church prayed. And that's what happened. Now, don't be afraid to put someone's name in that box thinking they're going to get lymphoma. Put it in there. Okay? Because God can work. Now, I do have to say in full disclosure, there's 2 other things on here that she put down. One was time, one was finances. She gave me this, and I looked there and I said, 1 out of 3 is not bad. But that's what God can do if you just believe. And to this day, I have 3 spots in my lung, 5 millimeter in size. The radiologist says there's 1 that has metastatic cancer in it, 2 are stable disease. The radiation oncologist thinks there could be 3. So they don't know. They know nothing. But there's one thing I do know. He restoreth my soul. As long as he can do that, cancer don't mean anything. And I've learned one thing. Cancer is just a word. Yes, it is. It's not a sentence. That's right. Depression is just a word. Amen. It's not a sentence. Loneliness is just a word. It's not a sentence. Disease is just a word. It's not a sentence. That's right. What can get you through that? The renewing, refreshing of your soul. That's it. Thank you for your time, Jim.